Rab, your late mum, Joy, fantastic lady. How big an influence was she on you?
Massive. Just loved all sports, but never watched her play a professional game live. Never watched this. She was involved with me from boys football, doing the strips, doing fundraisers, doing the coffees. My dad used to do the pitches as well, but never watched her play a professional game. She was too nervous. So
would she even listen to you on the radio?
I don't know. She used to record them, watch them later on. I think win or lose, but no, she loved her football. I think we pals just used to see her walking up the street, quite proud as punch. So that was it. Listen, the hardest bit was probably losing her during the Dee-fiant era. There was so much going on then as well.
What was her fear? Was it you getting injured, or was it just any kind of setback for you that she just couldn't, didn't want to comprehend?
Just
too nervous?
My dad used to take us when I was with Meadowbank in the reserves, and I didn't drive for that. My dad's been to watch us, he went to Seville, but just couldn't watch us. I don't know if it was nerves or what, she just didn't maybe didn't fancy it, but I think she was a proud mum anyway, certainly.
Did she used to sacrifice a lot for your benefit? She would put aside things that she could maybe get for herself to make sure you would get the best.
I've told the story after dinners. I looked down and I played with Kitfield, and we were going to East Kilbride and under 15s, and the new Jim Layton Royce goalie gloves out of Lanark Sports Shop. They were 20 quid back then, and ruined them after one night on the Red Ash at East Kilbride, and went home that night, as I say, under 15s. My mum had holes in her shoes. So I was lucky enough, I was privileged to get 19 caps, so put one of my Scotland caps in my mum's coffin because I knew how much it meant to her and how proud she was. So it's a nice, humbling thing to do.
We've spoken before about the character you've shown in your own career, and how much do you think was instilled in you from your mum?
It's a hard one. I don't know. She passed away in 2010, and never forget wee Andy, the kit man, who's now at Dundee United. He was at Morton, and asked him for a black armband. And we were obviously in the admin, and I was assistant manager to Barry Smith, and my mum had passed away. And Andy gave us a black armband, and I wore it every game that I played from then till I stopped playing. So even my one game at Arbroath, my games, wherever I was, I wore my wee black armband in memory of my mum. But I think your mum and dad try and give you the best to provide you the best, and to say managed to win a few trophies and Scottish Cups and Scotland caps for a small market town like Lanark. I think hopefully mum was proud enough of that.
Did she ever tell you what your career meant to her, or did you just know?
I just knew. I think a different generation, different generation back then. Listen, I think even during the Dee-fiant thing, she was willing us on. I always remember I'd given her one of the Dundee books. I'd done a foreword for it for Kenny Ross, and she was in the hospital, and she went, "That's me getting my reading for a couple of weeks." That was it.
Was it of comfort to you that she was around to see you sign for Celtic? She was around to see you make it in a professional game at Dundee and get a dream move, but then also to play for Scotland? That would have been huge.
It's massive. As I say, she loved her sport. It didn't matter, where it was the Olympics, the Commonwealths, football, snooker. She just loved her sport, and that was the one thing. So it's always nice to look back and think, she was sitting there. And my brother's done well as well, so it's reassuring.
How difficult was for Ian? I always wonder. I'm fortunate. I know the Redknapp family down south, and Jamie's done exceptionally well. Mark, his brother's a terrific guy, but it's one of those ones kind of in the shadow of a brother. And I'm just wondering how difficult it was for Ian, or was it difficult? Was it not a problem?
No, Ian was the proudest brother ever. Ian, we used to go and watch Motherwell home and away together, and then Ian would come and watch me at Meadowbank. Ian lived in Edinburgh, Meadowbank, Livingston, Dundee. Used to go to a lot of the Celtic games with his two pals, John and Donald Dillon, go with Debbie and Laura to all the Celtic games. And even the second time at Dundee, Ian would be there. But he was older brother, but Ian got into the horse riding. He does all the border festivals and that. So that was his big thing in it. It was a thing that my mum and dad were into as well, being from Lanark, it's part of Lanark-Lanimer celebrations and that. So it's all relevant, incredibly proud of what Ian's achieved.
You're both Motherwell fans. Who were your heroes?
I used to love watching Steve Dykstra.
Steve Dykstra.
Used to see John Philbin going mental at him, catch it. He'd parry one round the corner. And Steve Dykstra would come 16 yards and catch a corner. Just put the ball under his arm and look at John Philbin. He was magnificent. Be fair though, I mean, you'd Gary McAllister and that when some great players. Watched Motherwell lift the Scottish Cup against Dundee United, you know. I used to keep a lot of memorabilia, and I've still got one of the boys didn't turn up for the cup final that day, so I've still got, you know how you get your stub back, I've still got a full ticket as well, so it's a collector's item. It's a collector's item, I call it.
So you would have been back then 19, would you have been?
19,
that be right?
Aye.
And you played for Motherwell Boys Club as well?
I was at Motherwell Boys Club where
the late Phil O'Donnell.
Phil O'Donnell, Stan Leslie, the late Stan Leslie, played at Queen of the South. He was at Kirkfield with us. And then later on I went to Fir Park Boys Club and we played right under Ravenscraig. Then we used to go down to Fir Park as well.
So I'm presuming the real dream was to play for Motherwell.
Yeah, it never happened. I went down when I was out of favour at Leicester, and I trained, and I thought Mark McGee's training was very good, and we had a conversation. It just never materialised, but listen, regrets, it's not the end of the world, but it would have been nice to play at Motherwell. But
you signed for the long defunct Meadowbank Thistle, and you make your breakthrough in 1993. You're 21. You remember it?
beat 5-1.
That's a good
What a
start.
aye. There's a common denominator. No, it was Meadowbank, it was Donald Park and George Mackey. And again, probably wasn't sure if I was ready back then, but gave it. And then I kind of kicked on. Played a full season at Meadowbank, I think, and then into Livingston, and I really kicked on at Livingston. But again, as I say, I've been lucky with goalie coaches over the years where I've worked with. I was Tam McLaren, Murray McDermott, Roy Baines at Meadowbank and Livingston. And, you know, you're 2 nights a week. And I used to go home at midnight. I didn't drive, but I got home at midnight. But as I say, it cost me more than I got expenses, but I wanted to try it and see if and probably the first year I didn't think I was good enough, and then I kicked on.
I mean, you went straight from school to a building site?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's certainly a hard apprenticeship. I mean, I can imagine you're growing up pretty quick in that kind of environment. 7 o'clock in the morning rises, was it? All weather?
We were, listen...
It was like Alf Wiedersehen style workmates, was it?
It was a local company in Lanark, Lithgow's. Great, you know. You knew it was going to be hard work, but that's what you're prepared for. Great bunch of boys, still go back to Lanark and see some of them, you know. Then you end up in some of the sites and that as well. I think just before I signed for Dundee, we were building internal walls at New Lanark at the Waterhouses. I was on my hands and knees, my back was that sore. I was on my hands and knees building internal walls. But you get on with it and you do it. You do it because that's what you've got to do.
I think that undoubtedly shapes character, shapes personality, doesn't it? Does that kind of, for what you then subsequently achieve and the heights you reach, does that always make sure that because of where you came from, that kind of keeps you kind of level?
I think going back home and you see, we had our anniversary there in Tenerife and my tradesman George Main was there, you know. So you're talking, Jesus, 30 plus years ago. We've kept in touch with June and George. So George was my tradesman. One of the other guys, Johnny Prentice, was another brickie. Johnny used to come out to the golf day every year. He drank in the Rangers pub, and after a golf day, I would always put a wee penny behind the bar for him when I went to Celtic. Always leave money for him for Lanimer week with Denise in the bar. And listen, it's nice to be able to do that because they were good to me.
At one point, you fell from the scaffolding. Is that correct? Was it a 50-foot drop, or I mean?
I went up the top level to try and get down one and slipped, and I grabbed the scramble net. I think it was 44 feet, but fractured my heel. I was very lucky that I even managed to get playing. But listen, that's no big and no clever. It was occasionally used to get a wee twinge in it, but nothing now.
Incredible memories, certainly. But as you say, you know, Meadowbank, Thistle, and then Livingston. And another thing I think it's like a thread through your career is the managers that you work for. Fair to say, some of the biggest personalities you'll see in the game. Jim Leishman at Livingston. I mean, you won the 3rd Division title there, but Big Leish, I mean, what a legend.
Sold us to Dundee. I remember he dropped me one time. I think it was for Big Horace. He dropped us, and not being cocky. All I said to him was, "I'll prove you wrong." And we were on about Magaluf about 10 years later. I says, "Leash, gaffer." And well done, son. You know, but
You still
low
call him
level.
gaffer?
Aye, listen there.
Aye. It's respect.
Only gaffer, Dick Campbell,
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill, gaffer. The only one probably who I see a bit more occasionally is jockey. Occasionally gaffer slips in as well, but it's utmost respect to them. They're great football men, you know, over the years, and it's great.
Your love affair with Dundee starts in 1997. Dream move, 100 grand, I think it was.
Allegedly, aye.
Billy Thompson at the heart of it, I would imagine, recommending you strongly. You think you've cracked it financially, don't you? I mean, what was your wage in the building site? What were you earning? I mean, you're telling me all bounce checks.
300 bounce checks. Bounce checks every couple of weeks. It's not about the money. It was about the opportunity. I didn't know if I was going to play. John McCormick, obviously on Billy's recommendation, John McCormick signed us and signed the day before the season started. I probably didn't like. I was a creature of habit. Didn't like to change things. I wasn't sure if I was even good enough for Dundee to leave from Livingston. I'd been doing really well at Livingston, albeit part-time. I didn't know Billy Thompson had been to watch us, and signed us the day before the season started, and then on the Saturday we were out at Inchtour at Jimmy and Peter Marr's bar for pre-match, and Cowboy was doing the team talk, and Murray, my boy, had been in hospital, and I must have just dozed off for about 10 seconds. And the only person who would have caught me was Jim McInally. Of course, Jimmy tells every day. But we got a clean sheet that day. Won 3-0 and went on to win the championship. But I kicked on at Dundee as well and really enjoyed it. Dundee felt, you know, they paid the money and I came in, I was going straight into play and just enjoyed it.
Building site to Dens, suddenly full-time football. Your career could have gone to rubble. Sorry, that wasn't very good, was it?
You've had better.
I've had better, aye. Do you think I've had better? But, I mean, that's it. Your career's just on the rise. You won the first division title in your debut season.
I think we had...
great team, big characters.
Listen.
You announce yourself.
I think Cowboy had a great signing process as well. He signed big Brian Irvine, Jim McInally, James Grady, Eddie Anand. I was there. And there was boys already there that had talent as well. We were a right good team as well.
John McCormick was a good manager, another good person as well.
Yep, great. He gave me my chance. I'll be forever grateful.
Yeah. I mean, meteoric doesn't really cover it because within 2 years you're in the Scotland squad for the playoff games against England, which was utterly remarkable. I mean, I imagine you're thinking, you're genuinely pinching yourself at that point, aren't you? 2 years ago I'm on a building site, putting the bricks together in Lanark, and now here I am, you know.
Alan Main always joked, him and I used to room together. We were in the greenkeeper's shed. We had to move the lawnmowers out at Trin to get in there. No, listen, to get in and work with Hodgie was great, and I think that's maybe Hodgie saw a bit with the Scotland thing, and that's why. But as you say, from building site to an international, yeah, don't get me wrong, wasn't playing, but they wanted to have a look at us, and Craig Brown and that were all great.
Craig Brown.
Another legend, another,
that's another theme. I speak to plenty of coaches and managers, Rab, and Craig Brown, everyone says the same. And you can only say the same. Fantastic man, great manager,
Jesus,
character.
It was a long period. You look at the Scotland squad you had as well, and to be in them, you know, I was like, wow, this is brilliant, you know. But he was so thorough and so particular, you know, and he wanted it all for Scotland. I don't believe it was all for himself. It wasn't for his ego. He wanted it for Scotland. So
it's fair to say your 3 years at Dundee, you announced yourself, established yourself as the up and coming goalkeeper. You know, as we've covered your time at Celtic, I mean, you leave Celtic and you go to England, Leicester City, Millwall, and then you go to Wycombe, and you wouldn't know it then, but there's a certain person in defence in front of you who would then become Rangers manager.
it's a small world. I was kind of only there as cover at Wycombe, helping Lambo.
Paul Lambert was manager, of course.
Kind of maybe Frankie the goalie was there. I think I played 3. I had a month at Millwall, which was an eye-opener. Loved it. I had one for Plymouth as well. So, but time at Leicester, I played the first season and got injured and never really got back in. But you wouldn't think that Russell, you wouldn't know that Russell Martin was going to become the Rangers manager. But it's a small world, and it just shows you.
Good guy, good
Yeah,
player.
I know.
Because that was before his career really took off.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. He was obviously just a young player back then.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you're directly behind him, so are you shouting at him? Are you having to bark orders at him and clear it and mark him?
I wasn't the best. I think I played 3 for Wickham, but Russell was a good player, you know, so it'll be interesting to see how he does for Rangers as well.
Yeah. Do you wish him well?
Yeah.
You can say that, can you, sincerely?
A wee bit. No, listen, I'll always lean for Celtic. There's no doubt about that. But you know,
sure.
Russell was an ex-teammate, and you wish him well. I can't see Celtic being anything other than dominant this year again.
Have you seen him again over the years at all, Russell?
No.
You never know. There's a good chance you might bump into him again.
I've been Tenerife.
You were. I think you were almost 3 years, 4 years. I think you were down south, maybe even longer actually. Three years. You come back up and you resume your love affair with Dundee, and it's fair to say, Rab, amazing times. I mean, I often use the word roller coaster, and I think that's a fair one as well with your time at Dundee. You play Premier League football again at Dundee, and I think you were 40.
Life an old dog. Malt whiskey.
Yeah.
Better age.
Yeah.
No, listen.
You played Premier League for Dundee at 40, I think it was. But of course, the club would go into administration for a second time in 7 years. Deducted 25 points. You're basically 20 points adrift at the bottom. This is October, I think, 2010. A traumatic period, as you discussed, sadly, with your mum. But in terms of the football club, just a catastrophic situation. I think the administrator, Brian Jackson, at the time said it was 50-50, the club would get beyond Christmas.
I don't think, unless you've seen a club go into administration, you don't realise the effect it has on players and their families. You know, not the ones that were still there, the boys that lost their job.
Behind the scenes people.
Yeah. Players and the kit man, whatever, you know, Neil the kit man, you know, and that Neil was the first one to lose his job, and I thought, if we're losing a kit man, we're in serious trouble. Brian Jackson did an amazing job. Barry Smith, unbelievable.
Your close pal,
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
And Barry was captain the previous administration and saw the team through it. So there's no question in his character.
Listen, Barry's Mr. Dundee. He's everything good. What a top man. Still surprised he's not back involved in football. But Barry's ethic towards, he wanted everything perfect for the boys. You know, we were training during the winter. It was the beast from the east. We were training indoors for 4 days out of 5. We're getting a day off. We're hiring a hall. We've got like 7, 8, 9 bodies sometimes. Boys are injured. We're signing juniors.
There's a transfer embargo.
Yeah. If that, I don't think, to this day, I don't think the Dee-fiant squad or the supporters that all pitched in, I think if we'd went down, I don't think Dundee would have survived. To this day, I still think that would have been the end of Dundee.
I think it's fair to say that's one of the most extraordinary football stories in Scottish football history. I mean, you went on a 23-game unbeaten run. The fans ultimately raised, I think it was £250,000. You stayed up, which was an incredible achievement.
It was unbelievable. You would genuinely expect somebody to do a documentary or a movie on it. It was, you know, when you're... We had the boy Craig Robertson, Dundee fan, donated his testimonial money. He came and played 3 games for us from the juniors, Lockheed. It was just we had a night out in Edinburgh on the Sunday, and Barry and I had been down on the Saturday, just scouting the areas. We'd been out with Ray Farnham in a few years. We'd been out on the Saturday, and Barry was...
We're not talking recruitment here.
No.
We're not
Barry
talking
was
recruitment.
Barry was going back up the road, and the boys saw me and Barry, and they said, "Gaffer, you're coming out with us." So we went out as a team that night, and you just knew we were in a karaoke place just off George Street, and all the boys had, and it was myself as well, included, grown men were crying. How much it meant to them, the group, what you had lost, your teammates, because the boys that had lost their jobs still had mortgages and that to pay. You know, they're thinking they've taken maybe a mortgage over their football contract, and next minute they're unemployed through no fault of their own. You know, and probably looking back, hopefully Dundee will do something for all the boys as well that lost their jobs. You know, yeah, it'd be nice.
You've been a part of some strong dressing rooms, but is it fair to say, Rab, that particular year, is that the best team spirit you've ever known?
It's got to be up there, I would say, probably for the levels of what the group, the number of players we had, being so thin in the ground, boys playing with injury. Listen, you see now, he's got an ankle sprain. You know, boys are, wee Higgy's playing with a stake in his boot. I'm throwing it because I couldn't kick it because I'd strained my thigh. Craig McEwen's passing it back to me up at Dingwall. Just unbelievable. Gary Harkins, but some good players in that team as well. You know, Gary Irvin. We signed a few boys. Jake Hyde came through Lochee, but Rhys West and Matty Lockwood. The points that they turned round in that such a short period of time to make sure we were safe before the season even got nearly close, it was brilliant.
I mean, you had amazing seasons at Celtic, you know, winning leagues and cups, played in the Champions League, fantastic. But that particular season where you played your part helping Dundee stay up, was that as good as anything you did in your
career? It's up there. It's up there because
it's not always just about trophies, is it?
It's not always about trophies. I think when you realise how much the Dundee fans had invested into helping Dundee, they came and backed us in numbers at Stirling, and they backed us through it. They knew there was something. Wee Griffiths was there, wee Sparky, you know.
You had him up against a wall at one point, didn't you?
That was a Scottish Cup one. That was his fault.
Was that true? You had him by the
yes,
throat? And what was the reason behind that?
We were playing Motherwell, and it was a Sky game, and it had been heavy snowfall, so the game was in doubt, and they were clearing the pitch. I think wee Cammy Kerr was actually clearing the pitch as well, and Sparky turned up late for a team meeting. Not just for a team meeting. So everybody's preparation was out because Sparky was late.
How late?
Extremely late. Like almost into warm-up time. So he then gets sent off a couple of minutes to go, and he was smirking with Motherwell fans and that. And obviously I was a Motherwell fan growing up, but we've been scudded. I think it was 2 or 3-0. We're at the Cup. The club have got the money from the Scottish Cup game. And went in and out. It was just, I love wee Sparky. He's a wee lovable rogue. Football was all about him scoring goals. But he upset the whole group's preparation that day. So we're in the shower, and never forget, Matty's got this curly hair, Matty's soaping his cell up. And I've just went in and I've had Sparky up. A pair of flip-flops, bollock naked, pair of flip-flops like that, right? And he's going blue to purple to red. And I've got Gary Irvin and Gary Harkins hanging off my arm. And Matty obviously agreed with us because Matty just kept soaping the cell up and left. But I think Sparky learned his lesson that day. It's not just about him, it's a team ethos. And I think that was the big thing with the Dee-fiant thing that kept us going. But unbelievable.
How much credit? I mean, listen, clearly everyone's deserving of huge credit, but particularly Barry being the leader as manager, stepping in at that point and having done it before as captain. I mean,
that was Barry's first managerial gig. You know, it was Barry, Gordon Wallace, Bobby Geddes, myself and Matty, you know. But just Barry's first team talk. I'm sitting, and obviously I'd been really close to Barry, and we've kept in touch over the years. We've been to Magaluf, we've, you know, nights out and Broughty Ferry. And I thought, this is your test now, Barry. You know, where he's singing. And he just took to like a duck to water, but he was last one, first in at Dens, last to leave Dens. He just wanted checking all the boys with the right studs, checking the boots. You know, nobody saw that side of Barry. You know, the ultimate professionalism.
He's a club legend, of course.
Oh.
But, I mean, he's probably one of the most unassuming legends you'll ever see.
Without a doubt.
At a club, isn't he? He doesn't carry himself like that, does he?
Meeting him tomorrow for a coffee, so I'll pass on your regards. But he's I think he's about 5 games under Bobby Cox, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously, I remember, Debbie's big Dundee fan. We were at the Scottish Cup. He hits the woodwork in the Scottish Cup final for Dundee as well against Rangers, and they get beat 1-0. But Barry's Mr. Dundee to me, the modern day Mr. Dundee. Obviously, you've had Jockey Scott and Gordon Wallace and Bobby Geddes over the years, but to me, Barry's Mr. Dundee.
You go from that to I mean, at this point, you're in your 40s, 41, 42, you go to Forfar.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you have a period at Forfar under Broth. Dick Campbell. I mean, again, we're talking about personalities as managers. I don't think there's a bigger personality than Dick Campbell. But you're still playing as well.
I went up to Forfar to coach, and Darren broke his hand. So I ended up, met the gaffer in Magaluf. He says, come and coach. JR hadn't been well, so I ended up coaching. And Darren broke his hand, and I ended up, sorry, that was Forfar, JR was coaching. Arbroath, sorry, we'll start again. Darren broke his hand, and I went up to coach, and I ended up playing 70 or something like that. Then I went to Arbroath with him, and him and Pink and Youngie, it's magical times. No matter whatever level you're at, whether it's league, I've won the old third division.
Yeah.
Whether you win League 3, League 2, League 1, or the Premier, you're there in the history books. And watching the desire for the gaffer, Pink and Youngie in their 70s.
Even now?
It's
extraordinary, isn't it?
It's refreshing. It's refreshing. You see people think they've got a divine right, and then you see them. And they mentored me, the three of them mentored me. I think Pink was trying to culture us, but I took the gaffer on Youngie's side.
I've never known a coach like John Young wear glasses over glasses. I mean,
what a man, legend.
I mean, it's like a comedian. It's like, and John's listen, I don't mean to disrespect John in any way. Serious football man with a great career behind him, but glasses over glasses is eccentric.
Just to make sure.
Talk about laughs.
Oh, unbelievable. It's, I used to see them in Magaluf, and I'd go over in 5 minutes, even when I was at Dundee, before then.
You like Magaluf, don't you?
Yeah, so does the gaffer and Youngie and Pink and that. But that's our time, that's your downtime.
Yeah.
And then
I
end up now going in May and sitting with the gaffer and Youngie and Pink and Mojo and all that squad, and then you go in again in September. But I went out one night with the gaffer and Pink, and I thought, this is going to be... three of us went for a meal, and the two of them are nearly fighting each other about formations and tactics and that. I'm thinking, this wasn't quite right.
You're just a onlooker.
No, they were so passionate about it. And everybody thinks, oh, the gaffer's jovial.
He's ferocious, isn't he? He's a ferocious competitor.
He's relentless. He wants to win. Wants the best. Tries to get the best out of all his players on a Saturday. That's the one thing. You've got them sometimes an hour and a half, weather permitting, on a Monday and Wednesday and that. And what they achieved at Arbroath was unbelievable. Great club, Arbroath. Thoroughly enjoyed my time there, and wish them nothing but the best. But probably our time was up, and what they did up there, they punched well above their weight, and it's probably shaped Arbroath for a better club overall in general.
Your first game was 93, 21-year-old for Meadowbank. Your final game was for Arbroath at Hampden, 2017, 45, I think you were, Rab. And you finished with a clean sheet at the National Stadium. It doesn't get better than that, does it?
I'd like to say it. A wee half assist as well.
Oh?
Mark Watley passed it back. I used to go mental when they pass it back, right? That's no my game, right? I couldn't play now. I genuinely, that's no... You look at Casper Schmeichel and them all playing it.
Aye.
Football's changed again. And Mark Watley passed one back for about 52 yards. I've kicked it about 53 and a half. It's bounced and we're in and we got the part and score, right? So they're all celebrating. I am going purple at Mark Watley. But one game, clean sheet at Hampden. And the referee was Craig Charleston. And I used to go to Benidorm quite a bit as well, and he says to us, Paul goes out for a bike hit, he goes, hey big man, you'll never guess where I'm off to tomorrow. Benidorm. This is during the game, your first ever debut game at 45 for Arbroath. I'm away to Benidorm tomorrow, the referee tells me.
The thing is, you were still registered until last summer, were you not, with Arbroath?
I was on the bench at 50 for Arbroath. We should have put us on against Morton. Even if I got a couple of minutes, that would have been different generations. I'd have been 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But I was on the bench. Listen, it was only to help out. I'm nowhere near it. But again, I was lucky. I had Derek Gaston up at Arbroath, who was absolutely sensational for me at Arbroath as a goalie. And the only problem was I should have kept training. I would only train if one of them had a niggle. And when you step out, you're off it. And then you step back and you're getting close to it for a couple of weeks and the goalie's back in. See if I just kept going. But listen, great bunch of boys, great wee place. And Again, you're there in the history books that are both winning titles.
19 Scotland caps. 19
Brilliant.
Scotland caps. And great moments, low moments. Again, there's no kind of, just flat, normal. It's either there or it's down there. Best moments, I'm thinking 1-0 win over Holland at Hampden.
Yeah, we beat Hull. Van der Sar wouldn't he talk to us.
Is that right?
Yeah, wouldn't he swap shirts.
How not? In a huff?
Because we scudded them.
Because you beat them 1-0, yeah.
Different story in Amsterdam.
Yeah. 1-1 at home to Germany.
Yeah.
Was decent. You save a penalty from Figo. Lost the game against Portugal, but saving a penalty from Figo is worth boasting about.
No.
But of course, we then have 6-0 in Amsterdam, the return game, 2-2 in the Faroes. But there was also that crushing moment in Paris, Rab, where, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically Bertie Vogts had promised you your debut, but it coincides at the time with Debbie being pregnant with your first child.
Yeah.
Or with Brooke. And you were assured that you would make your debut, so you missed coming home.
I think
You kept on the bench.
I had raised concerns about it, about if Debbie went into labour, would they get us home? They said they would get us home, and I was rooming with Sully, and believe it or not, you're going to laugh, I see Sully every year in Magaluf as well, right? Goalies Union, so I see Sully in Magaluf. So him and I are rooming, and Debbie's mum phoned, that's her into labour. Scotland couldn't get us home. There had been talk, I know for a fact, Sully was struggling with injury, and Hodgie had said I was getting a half. I think it was a mixed message from Hodgie and Bertie Vogts. So you can imagine me, missed Brooks' birth, scudded 5-0, didn't get on, and then Bertie Vogts in the airport and I are discussing baby names, which, But, listen, Bertie Vogts gave me my debut. To start again, bless Craig Brown, it was an older generational team. Bertie to start from scratch, and he produced the likes of Faddy and that, so it's not all about trying to blame Bertie Vogts. I was just disappointed he never got us home for Brooks' birth. Plus Sully wasn't fully fit. I would have liked to had a chance to play in France, but a 5-0 scudding, it wasn't on me for once.
But we also racked the guilt at not having been here.
Debbie had said, I'd said to her, I think I'm getting a half. I've been told I'm getting a half, and she went, go and make your debut then. So obviously she's in the hospital thinking I'm making my debut, and then you can imagine me at full time. Which, listen, you've got to remember, coming from amateur football, junior football, lower divisions to possibly make your Scotland debut, maybe not get carried away, but be grateful for what I've achieved. As disappointed as I was, I would never ever, and they were wanting me to nail Bertie Vogts, and that's not in my nature. I just, listen, him and I hit it off, and I would never say a bad word against Bertie Vogts.
But you let rip at him, didn't you, at the airport?
Yeah.
Charles de Gaulle Airport.
We had words, we were discussing baby names. But it was just a mixture of disappointment and frustration, but that's personal and private, and I'll never forget Bertie Vogts giving me my debut.
Well, I was going to say it was a month later, wasn't it? He plays you against Nigeria at Pataudry, which is a huge moment for you.
Of course it is.
Massive moment. That's probably one of the biggest moments of your life.
Listen, anybody that's played lower level football, to get a chance to stand, and okay, it was Pataudry, but you're still making your debut, and I did relatively well. So to me, again, it just shows people that no matter what age or what level you've come from, there's a chance. You get boys that are exceptional talents throughout their career, or naturals, right? But there's also guys that have came the harder route, like myself, that there is chances that you can do it.
Well, the thing is, despite the episode at the airport, you defend them, Bertie, to the hilt now, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I think over my career I've had about 30 managers. There's only one I've not got on with. So listen, you don't get on with everybody in the dressing room or your work environment, but that's life in general. That's, whether it's you've had a disagreement with somebody in the pitch, that's football.
See, no matter what your biggest critics think of you, at the end of the day, you're Celtic number one and you're Scotland number one. And that's a hell of an accomplishment.
I'll take that.
Even just one of them.
I'll take that.
I think it's a mark of you, Rab, that I think, for long enough now you have dedicated yourself to fundraising. You lost your close pal, Gordon Cowan, 1997. He was only 25. He died of cancer, and you immediately dedicated yourself to not only raise funds, but to make sure he would never be forgotten. And in his memory, you've done some staggeringly good work. The Beatson Cancer Charity. Tell me about Gordon as a person, and how that's, his passing's never left you.
Gordon was 6'5". Worked at Borders Enterprise Trust. Big gentle giant. He was into. He could golf. He played rugby down in Gala a wee bit. He was a qualified referee for some strange reason. He was a goalkeeper as well. But he played with us at Kirkfield. Him and his dad and my dad used to do the pitches out at the old army barracks at Lanark, and they were like, honestly, the best surface you would get. We were spoiled. But Gordon's dad and my dad, you were only allowed in them for the game, and then you were straight out of them. None before it. But when Gordon passed away, 16 years golf for a trophy out at Carnmouth for a few years, just as a memorial thing, then we decided one year one of the boys had joined Lanark, Mark Darrick, who's no longer with us either. Mark was the captain. We got into Lanark, and be fair, it's a fair fundraiser now. That's 20. We've been raising money for 22 years, and
Remarkable. It's over £500,000, Rob, is it?
I think 550 for the Beatson.
It's incredible.
Cancer charity. But
huge credit.
It's not about me, it's about Gordon, and all Gordon's mum and dad was, when Gordon passed away, she didn't want them to forget him and take that on board. Guys have had got their charities, Big Johnny and Chris Boyd and that, and they do their stilling. This isn't it's not my charity, it's the Gordon Cowan, it's in Gordon's memory, but it's the start of Lanimer Week in Lanark, and Sutty's been, Lambo's been, Lenny and John Hartson come regularly, Gary Harkins comes, we've got great backers, great sponsors. It's a sellout, so, and we do alright, we do that, we do our golf day, and we do a couple of summer balls and Christmas balls and that, but all the money goes to the Beatson at Mr. and Mrs. Cowan and Gillian's request, and more than happy to do that. It's, how would I describe Gordon? A big mummy's boy. I would, if we were going out for a night out, I would get my shirt and pay it up over 2 weeks at the clothes shop in Lanark. Gordon's mum would get him on it next. just a mummy's boy, but a really, really easy going. Loved the beer, loved a night out, loved muddle. So there you go.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? Even as we've been discussing, you've had some low moments, but it's one of those perspective things, isn't it? I'm sure he's never far from your thoughts, and it's clearly one of the most important things in your life now.
It's a massive part. So I used to set myself targets. See, now as long as everyone enjoys herself, it's not about them. The money's important for the Beatson. Me setting targets isn't important. Everybody enjoying themselves is more important. Gordon's memory not been forgotten's bigger than anything. At the end of the day, I've been lucky enough. Gordon used to drive me to Livingston or Meadowbank when I didn't drive, so it's nice to we get a wee something for Gordon. We got a wee award for Livingston as well, and I put it in beside his grave many years ago. So it's nice, but it's nice to have his name out there, and we're just doing a website for him now as well.
Plenty of people, Rab, applauding you and everyone else associated with it that works hard on it as well. It's to everyone's huge credit.
Just to clarify, is the son making a donation to the Gordon Cowan Memorial?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that will be.
To all the boys in the committee.
That will be happening. I can confirm on air. Look, it's been fantastic coming down to see you at Broughty Ferry, Rab, and we're really grateful for your time. Wonderful career. Certainly congratulations on it. Kind of privileged to call you a friend as well, but it's
funny looking back over it. I think if it's yourself, you don't see it like that. I used to go and watch Muddle and Steve Dykstra and all the guys, Davy Cooper, Colin O'Neill, Stevie Kirk, Muddle legend. To think you get paid for doing something that you love doing.
Did you ever wear a Steve Dykstra style goalie jersey? They were classics.
I had one of them when
they were belters, weren't they?
I had one when I was at Livingston. That's the only jersey I've not got. I've still got a Meadowbank jersey, but the Livingston jersey is the only jersey I've not got.
That's a corker, wasn't it? Yeah. That was a rascal, wasn't it?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
What a man. Honestly, Muddle fans coming for crosses. Unbelievable.
Biggin, thanks very much
Pleasure. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Cheers.